Welcome back to page 121. Today we're going to take a look at another race out of Star Frontiers game, the Yazirians, kind of gliding monkey men. An interesting race. I had a few questions after I read this over. I'll go into those as I take a look at the race itself. But a quick aside, subscribers, please, patrons, please. Existing subscribers and patrons, thank you very much. I appreciate your help. Also, please take a look at the link below for information on Jump Point, coming up in Frankfort, Illinois, at Amazing Fantasies, an amazingly good comic and game store out in Frankfort, Illinois. End of the commercial. Back to the important stuff. We're going to take a look at the alien race Yazirian today on page 121. Okay, from Star Frontiers game, the Yazirians. This is the last of the player character races from Star Frontiers. I'm sure that there were a few others from various sources. I'm going to have to take a look around and see if I can find any from various modules or Dragon articles or anything, if there were other allowable races. If you know of any, please let me know in the comments below. So Yazirians, these are these guys right here with the big wing flap under their arm and the convenient gaps there so they can wear belts and harnesses and things like that. Physical appearance and structure. Yazirians are tall, thin humanoids. They have long arms and legs and slender torsos. Two large fat flaps of skin grow on either side of their bodies, attached along their arms, torso, and legs. When Yazirian raises its arms, these membranes are stretched tight and forms a sort of wing. Under certain circumstances, explained under gliding, Yazirians can glide short distances using these wings. Yazirians have muzzles and high foreheads, giving them an animal-like appearance. The heads are surrounded by manes and collars of hair, which varies from gray color from glossy black to pale yellow. Their skin color ranges from gray to light tan. Because their bodies do not sweat, Yazirians pant to keep cool. They are omnivores. Yazirians have 4 knuckles, one more than humans, on their fingers and toes. The inside toe is opposed like a thumb, allowing them to grasp things with their feet. The tips of their fingers and pads end in broad-ribbed, fingers and toes end in broad-ribbed pads, giving them an excellent grip. These characteristics, combined with their animal-like appearance, earn them the derisive nickname monkeys. So there's their foot with the toe and the long fingers, the slit pupil eyes, their brain back there. They are 2.1 meters tall, 50 kilograms for the males, 60 for the females, which run a little larger, 140-year lifespan, reproductions heterosexual and viviparous, and body temperature 39 degrees centigrade. Senses. Yazirians have sense of hearing, smell, and taste are equivalent to humans. Because they evolved from nocturnal hunters, however, their eyes have adapted to seeing in dim light. That's why they have the cat's eye. They cannot see in complete darkness. They usually wear dark goggles when they must work in sunlight. In bright light, the Yazirians without dark goggles must subtract 15 from both their dexterity and reaction speed scores. So they don't do real well in bright light. They have to have their goggles to shield them, and there's a picture of the Yazirian with the goggles. Speech. Yazirians have no trouble speaking human languages or pan-galactic. Their own language is a combination of human-type sounds and snarls and growls. Society and customs. Yazirian communities are divided into large, loosely organized clans. All members of a clan are related to each other. In the past, clan ties were very strong. The clans had traditional enemies and allies, and they struggled constantly for power and land. Since the Yazirians moved into space, they have learned to cooperate more, and the clans have become less important. Despite this, Yazirians have a reputation on the frontier as proud, fierce fighters. Custom Yazirians have kept intact is the selection of a life enemy. When a Yazirian chooses a life enemy, he dedicates his life to destroying, overcoming, or outdoing that enemy as completely as possible. The enemy does not have to be a person. It can be a task. Maybe there's a disease a Yazirian doctor wants to cure. He chooses that as his life enemy. He has to devote all his energies to eradicating it, or otherwise getting the best of it. Once he has done this to his life enemy, he can then say, good, I'm done, or he can pick yet another life enemy and work against that. And this can be another person, it can be a player character, it could be whatever you want it to be. It could be a task. And some Yazirians never choose a life enemy, so it's really not anything that ties the character down. They gain honor by striving to defeat your life enemy. Yazirians with powerful life enemies are respected and admired. Yazirian defeats his enemy, does not need to choose another, as I said, but some do. And a Yazirian that dies without having chosen a life enemy is considered unlucky. That's kind of subjective, but it's an interesting idea. Typically, Yazirian clothing is large, brightly colored cape and tunic, a waist belt, and two belts crossed over the chest. Dark goggles are worn in the daytime. Yazirians do not like shoes, but when necessary, they wear mitten-like shoes. So a spacesuit for these guys would be interesting. It would have to be very loose-fitting on the side to allow for their membrane there. Attitudes. In general, Yazirians like Veruscan humans. They occasionally lose their patience with Dralocytes because Dralocytes are slow and would rather discuss ideas than act on them. And then the Yazirians have the two special abilities. One is Battle Rage. They train themselves to go berserk in battle. A berserk Yazirian gets a bonus of 20% to hit in melee. Yazirian characters start with a battle rage score of 5 and a 5% chance to go berserk at the start of the battle. This chance can be increased by spending experience points to raise the battle rage score. Battle rage lasts as long as Yazirian keeps fighting. It ends when the Yazirian rests for 5 minutes. I don't let the battle rage become a blind berserker's rage in that he'll attack friends. He may swing at somebody he doesn't know real well and may not perceive as a friend in his blinded state, but if it's a crew member or a friend of some kind, I don't let the Yazirian go ahead and hit him too. He's not a berserker, he's just in a battle rage. Gliding. Yazirians can glide short distances using the membranes along their sides. Yazirian can glide 1 meter for every meter he is above the ground when he starts. He must start at least 10 meters above the ground. Maximum distance a Yazirian can glide depends on the gravity of the planet as shown below. So at 0.6 gravity, just about half our gravity, 60%, they go 150 meters. 0.7, 100, 0.8, 50, 0.9, 25, and the standard gravity, 10 meters. Yazirians cannot glide in planets with gravities below 0.6 or above 1. Interestingly, because this was the early 80s, there's no mention of atmosphere. How thin or thick an atmosphere is would absolutely impact their ability to glide, and yet it's not brought out here. So as a GM, I have introduced that. I have run some Yazirian player characters. They're actually pretty straightforward. I had one guy who played them basically like somebody from Planet of the Apes. It really struck his fancy. That's just how he chose to play the character. I had no problem with that. They're very good. It's easy to kind of get lost playing Yazirian and just kind of have him almost revert to being a human. So good role players will really work at keeping the quote alien unquote aspect of the character alive and functioning at the tabletop. But there you have it. There's only one remaining race to study in Star Frontiers, and that is, of course, the Sathar, the big bad evil guys of this setting, and we'll take a look at that next time in this set of videos. So that's all I've got to say today on page 121. I want to thank you for your time. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.